Before we get close to our end here, I had wanted to point to another area of imagination. Since we're talking about imagination, that it can be not just daydreaming and associative thoughts. It can also be this vague notion about ourselves. For example, there can be a vague notion that things are sort of impossible. It's impossible. I can't do that. No, that's not. From one point of view, nothing is preventing us from doing anything. I kind of think, no, I couldn't. No, I can't build a fence. No, I can't build a fence. I don't know how would I build. There's a feeling of impossibility. But then when I start to research something just like that, I actually can build quite a nice fence. I've done it. That's a small example, but this can become a cloud in us, a sense of impossibility, even about awakening, a sense of impossibility. Or it can be, I am really extraordinary. It doesn't come with those words, but there's a feeling. I am so superior. I've got it together. I've got everything I need. I can do anything and this can actually be imagination. And you meet people in both of these camps. You meet them in yourself, and you meet people you know. I was recalling to mind someone I knew when I was young. He just always came across, have you met anybody better than me? Have you ever come across anybody more charming, interesting, talented, smart? Look at me. That's sort of what the emanation was. And of course, it was very irritating to vanity to see someone who thought so highly of themselves, who seemed to think so highly of themselves. I later discovered about this person that was a complete mask. And if you could have unpeeled that mask, off his face like they do in the movies, there was a very different being inside who was in conflict. This imagination, this kind of notice in yourself, your daily feeling about yourself, either feeling kind of superior or kind of inferior, or kind of things are impossible, or I'm invincible. But back to imagination, it's more than just daydreaming. As Uspensky said, we imagine who we are. We imagine this feeling of self, of me. This is a deeper layer of seeing that through the vapor, through the fog of imagination, it's something else to look at. Because we think it's who we are. We think that's it. We think that's awareness. But awareness is seeing it, but is usually bogged down in it. And it doesn't come into focus the way Jamie was talking about that experience. If you examine what Jamie was describing, it had nothing to do with a feeling of identity. There was no identity in it. There was just a profound sense of being.
I just feel like I just had my mind blown considering this whole sense of like the broken one, or like whatever my story is, being another form of imagination. It makes perfect sense now that you've explained it, but I've never seen the translucence of it, I guess. I've always considered it to be like this bag of like trauma that I'm carrying around, and something that I've got to fix, as opposed to just a story that's on a loop all the time.
That's beautiful. Yes, it's so freeing when you think on the highest level, all of that can be left behind. And we were talking about death. It will be left behind. The story, the feeling of I connected to the story of my life and my person will all blip. It will be gone. And it will prove to have not mattered from the perspective of awareness. It will prove to have been something we need not have been identified with. And it's true now. It's true now. No one can free us from this. We each have to come to this in ourselves. From there, we untangle the knot. Actually, from there, the knot untangles itself. The knot of identity, this burden of me. It starts to untangle itself, and at first will happen in moments, in flashes. Then it will become longer. Then it will have a longer lasting effect.